Black is my skin, Ponder is my name, and Puffs is my experience. This channel is a platform for me to motivate, discuss some of my life experiences, and to have real discussions with real people. And so I, Aaliyah Ponder, welcome you to my channel and to today's motivation. Let's get into it. Today I want to get into parental relationships. I know many people in my age group, many young folks, even older folks, don't really have discussions about parental relationships and what they look like and what children are supposed to require out of their parents. But I think that it's time to, talk about it. And so I am coming from a place where my parents divorced at a very young age. And so I was raised primarily by my mom. And the role that my father played was a different role from most in-house fathers. He wasn't really as present for one reason or another. And when it was time for us to get together, our relationship was naturally strained because I was used to being around my mom all the time. And so what I learned growing up is that it was a little traumatic for me, like not having my dad, and it definitely influenced a lot of the interactions that I had with males ultimately until I came into myself and realized who I was and gained a greater understanding of my identity. So to the person that didn't have their father, to the person that did have their father, to the person whose relationship is strained, whether your father is present or not, I want to let you know that trauma has no age. Trauma has no age. Trauma doesn't start as a toddler and grow up and become old and die. And dies. It doesn't die. I want you to know that whatever trauma that you're experiencing because of one parent or another, whether that was your mother or your father, that's okay and it's normal. It's normal to be traumatized by some of your parental interactions, especially coming up in a community where, well, for me as a Black woman, coming up in a community where you can't really verbalize how you feel as a child because it's disrespectful. It's like, oh my gosh, are you talking back? Like, are you crazy? And that's how you get a whooping. That's another discussion. Regardless, I want you to know that trauma has no age. I also want you to know that now you can stop making excuses for your parents. Now, if you still living at the crib and you're under 18, I probably suggest this discussion for 18 and over because, you have some leeway, like you're a legal adult or whatever, depending on your state, or 19 and up. I know Alabama is 19 for being an adult, but that is a really good time to have a discussion with your parents. Okay, so your parent does one thing or another. For instance, saying that you're gonna call and then they don't. They got you waiting all day and they're like, oh, I'm gonna call you in 5 minutes, or I'm gonna call you in 2 minutes, and they don't. And so though that might sound very small, to somebody that is working on rekindling and rebuilding a parental relationship, that's heavy. And so stop making excuses for your parents. Seriously, you gotta hold them accountable because at the end of the day, they're humans as well. And so saying, oh, they were busy, or oh, they're stressed, or oh, they got a lot going on. Who doesn't have a lot going on? Who isn't busy? Who isn't stressed? Ultimately, we have to understand that people make time for what they want. And so if we're not requiring greater things from the people that we love and care about, especially our parents, then what do we expect to receive? To the next point. Having time for you versus making time for you. There's a very big difference, and it might sound small, the two words having and making, but it's a big difference. Having time for somebody, as you all know, is like, oh, I'm free right now. I'm just on IG, or I'm just on the Snap, I'm just on Twitter, and I can afford to give this person my time. I can afford to call them or text them. But making time for somebody is being intentional. It's saying, well, I know that I need to get in contact with this person, or I know that me and this person need to finish a conversation or discussion. Me and this person need quality time. And so this time, this date, I'm going to make sure that me and this individual have time to get whatever we need to get done. You see what I mean? And so for our parental relationships, It is the same thing. Especially our parents, I think that we think because they're adults or because they are parents that we don't have the right or the space to require certain things out of them. But at the end of the day, you have to require something out of anyone in your inner circle, anybody that is directly impacting you, whether that's a professor. If that's a professor, you need to be like, I'm requiring you to challenge me. I'm requiring you to push me to my higher level. I'm requiring you to, increase my intellectual capacity. For a friend, I'm requiring you to be there for me. I'm requiring you to support me. I'm requiring you to not let me settle for less. Yes, okay. And then for parents, it's the same. I'm requiring you to be a woman or a man of your word. Yes, it's that deep. Because what happens is sometimes we'll subconsciously perpetuate the actions of our parents onto our peers, whether that's just friendships, romantic relationships, business relationships, and we're expecting people to fall short because that's what, one or both of our parents have done. And it shouldn't be like that. And so in order for us to have a proper perspective, and when I say proper perspective, I'm not saying a generalized perspective that everybody has, because everybody's insight and perspective and viewpoints are different. But I'm saying, in order for us to not be looking down on people and expecting less of people, having a low standard for other individuals, we must require more out of the people that directly pour into us. And so if you're a parent and you're watching this, step it up. I don't know what you've been doing. I don't know if you've been the best parent that your child has ever had. I don't know if, you might have been a subpar parent and you don't want nobody to tell you that because you're like, I will tear the clothes off my back and give it to my child. And I don't know if you haven't been present and you're trying to figure out how to rebuild and rekindle a relationship with your child. But I want to encourage the parents, start being strategic and intentional about your interactions with your children. They look up to you. They care about you. They love you. They want everything for you and from you. They want you to pour into them on a regular basis. It could be as simple as figuring out what your child's love language is. There's too many of us out here blaming our parents or a parent for something that you struggle with, for something that we struggle with, for something that we might not be able to obtain, for stuff that we can't get over. I get mad, I got anger issues because my daddy wasn't there. Or I can't trust women because my mom wasn't there. Or she wasn't really there for me. But what does blaming people do? Does blaming people put you 5 steps forward in your movement toward growth and development and purpose? Because ultimately, as long as you place blame, what progress are you making? So I'm here to encourage you to require more from your parents. Require more. I want more quality time. Say that. They can't reach your mind. They're humans too. I want more quality time. I want you to call more often. I want you to be a woman or a man of your word. I want you to make time for me. I no longer want you to have time for me. I want you to be intentional about our interactions. I'm also encouraging you all, figure out what your love language is where people can love you properly. If people are loving you properly, you can no longer say, I'm not in a position to receive that love. Because at that point, that love is fit, just for you. It's like a key. It's like, once you got the right key for the keyhole, you can put it in there. But if you got a wrong key, wrong shaped key, how you gonna get it in the hole? You can't, because it's not the same shape as a hole. And so that's the same thing as love. You have a specific love language. Specifically, mine is quality time. If you're trying to buy me stuff, do you think it's gonna fit in the keyhole? That's like trying to put a square shape on a heart. No, it's not. I appreciate it. I'm grateful. But specifically, being able to sit down and talk, or sit down in silence, or go out in the nature and just enjoy each other's company, for me, that's like putting a circle on a circle, putting a heart on a heart, putting a square on a square. It fits. That is how I like to be loved. And so figure out how you like to be loved where people can love you properly. Lastly, I want you to figure out what your trauma is. What gets you angry? What grinds your gears? What pisses you off? What makes you want to act out of character? Because as I said earlier, trauma has no age. Figure out what that trauma is, where you can start working towards healing from it. You can't heal from something that you don't know is there. So whether that is you, pouring into some of your peers and some of your family members and opening up to them, letting them know how you feel and how certain things make you feel, or going to therapy. Therapy is really good. Therapy is healthy. It's not as encouraged in the African American community, being one of the individuals in the African American community, but as a Black woman, I want to encourage you, regardless of your ethnicity or race, to go to therapy. If you have the funds to do so, definitely go to therapy and get some help. It doesn't make you weak. Actually makes you really strong to be able to go and speak to a stranger and build a relationship with a stranger based off of, your life and your experiences and stuff. Thank you so much for watching Black Ponder Puffs. I hope you enjoyed today's motivation. If you don't like it, that's fine, because you watched the whole video. Have a great day. Peace and blessings.